Welcome to my channel, the world of science fiction where extraordinary tales come to life. Enjoy the journey. Why humanity is the galaxy's most powerful warrior species. In the cold silence of space, something ancient stirred. A signal, faint, rhythmic, and human, echoed through the void after 5,000 years of silence. To the alien empires listening across the stars, it wasn't just noise. It was a warning. The Galactic Council gathered in panic. Across the marble halls of the Triarch Citadel, holograms of alien generals flickered to life. They had seen this before, long ago, in the First Contact Wars. And they remembered what humanity had done. Impossible, hissed the Carthian warlord, his scaled fingers trembling. The humans were destroyed. They burned their own world. Then explain the signal, replied the Archon of Veralia, her voice like shards of ice. It bears their code. The Terran signature, they're alive. The chamber fell silent. No one in the galaxy spoke the human tongue anymore. It was a dead language, a relic of a species that had vanished centuries ago, after fighting wars that shattered moons and turned entire planets to glass. And yet, somewhere, humanity was whispering again. The signal repeated, "We endure." Far beyond Council space, on the forgotten world of Erebus 9, a lone figure stood atop the ruins of a collapsed dome. His armor was scarred, ancient, painted with the emblem of Earth's extinct armies. The man gazed at the sky where the binary suns burned crimson. "Transmission confirmed," said a voice in his helmet. "They've heard us." He smiled, a small, cold smile. "Good. Let them remember who we are." In the following weeks, fear spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Entire systems fortified their borders. Fleets were recalled. Ancient anti-human protocols were reactivated. Even the machines of the Zira Dominion, who felt no emotion, rerouted their entire armada toward the Terran coordinates. Because every species in the galaxy knew one thing. When humans rise, worlds burn. No one understood why humans fought the way they did. They didn't fight for resources or territory or power. They fought because of something deeper, something the other races could never grasp. Defiance. Even in extinction, that defiance had endured. On Erebus 9, the man removed his helmet. His face was scarred, eyes cold and gray like the void. Around him, other soldiers emerged. Men and women awakened from cryosleep, wearing the insignia of long-dead nations. America, Russia, India, Japan. Humanity reborn from the ashes. "Commander," said one of them softly, "what's our objective?" He looked toward the stars where the Council worlds glittered like prey. "Our objective," he said, "is to remind the galaxy why they feared us." The wind howled across the ruins as engines roared to life. Ships, rusted but powerful, rose into the sky, leaving trails of fire behind. Humanity was back. And this time there would be no mercy. The Council chamber trembled, not from sound but from silence. The kind of silence that carried weight. Fear. Memory. Dozens of alien leaders stared at the holographic image spinning above the table. A grainy transmission, showing human warships rising through crimson clouds. Old designs. Outdated engines. But every being in that room knew what those ships meant. The humans were awake. "They can't possibly be a threat," said the Zira Prime Intelligence. Its metallic voice flickered across the chamber. "Their technology is obsolete by 3 centuries. "Obsolete?" the Carthian warlord hissed, slamming a clawed hand against the table. "Tell that to the moons they cracked. Tell that to the fleets they burned to ash." A deep voice echoed through the hall. The voice of Archon Sarax, leader of the Varelian Ascendancy. "We buried them," she said slowly. "We erased their history, destroyed their records, scattered their relics into the void. And yet, here they are again." The lights dimmed as the hologram zoomed in. The Terran insignia was clear now. An old Earth flag, torn and scorched, painted across a warship's hull. The Archon's eyes narrowed. They called themselves humanity. A shiver ran through every being present. Even the mechanical ones paused their data streams. Far away on Erebus 9, Commander Rian stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dauntless. Around him, ancient consoles hummed to life, lights flickering after centuries of silence. Power level stable, reported Lieutenant Hale. Weapon systems online, shield matrix, functional mostly. Mostly is enough, Rian said quietly. We don't need perfect machines. We have will. He looked at the holographic display. Hundreds of human ships rising, forming a fleet. Not vast, not advanced, but united. Send a message, Rian ordered. To whom? Hale asked. Rian's lips curled into a small, cold smile. To everyone. Moments later, every communication channel in known space went dark. Then a voice, as human, steady, proud, and filled the galaxy. This is Commander Rian of the Terran Reclamation Fleet. We are the descendants of Earth. To those who remember our fall, remember this as well. We endure, and we are coming. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, panic erupted. Worlds locked down. Armies mobilized. Even the neutral trade networks severed. Routes that passed anywhere near human space. The Council called an emergency war. Session. We cannot allow them to rise again, said the Zyra delegate. You can't stop them, the Archon replied. Her voice was low, almost a whisper. You've never been able to stop them, the warlord growled. Then we end them now. Burn their world before they spread. Burn it? The Archon laughed bitterly. That's what we said last time. Every leader turned toward her. She leaned forward, her eyes burning with something between fear and awe. And yet here we sit, still afraid of the ashes. Meanwhile, the Dauntless broke through orbit. Stars stretched before it like distant fires. Rian watched them. Billions of suns, each one a reminder of what humanity had lost. Set course, he said. Destination Council Prime. Commander Hale whispered, that's suicide. Maybe, Rian said. But they need to see us coming. The ship's engines roared to life. Space itself seemed to tremble as the Terran fleet moved, and for the first time in 1,000 years the galaxy remembered what it felt like to be hunted. The void was silent, then it screamed. A ripple of light tore across the darkness as humanity's fleet jumped into hyperspace. Ancient engines roaring like thunder gods awakening after 1,000 years. In that moment, every sensor across the galaxy lit up. Every star nation went red alert. They were coming. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Commander Rian stood like a shadow carved from steel. His eyes were fixed on the holographic map. Hundreds of red enemy signatures spreading across the grid like a swarm. Council Defense Fleet confirmed, said Lieutenant Hale. 4,000 warships, armed with plasma rails and quantum torpedoes. Rian didn't flinch. And us? 312. A quiet smile touched his lips. Then it's a fair fight. In the council chamber, chaos reigned. Generals barked orders, fleets mobilized, systems screamed with alerts. The Archon of Varelia stared at the live feed, a human fleet advancing without hesitation. No negotiations, no demands, just movement. They're insane, hissed the Zyra AI representative. They cannot possibly win. The Archon whispered almost to herself. That's what makes them terrifying. Space burned. The first human ships burst from hyperspace like fire through oil. Missiles screamed. Ion cannons lit the void. The alien blockade around Erebus 9 shattered in seconds. Inside the Dauntless, alarms flashed red. Enemy shields holding. Hale shouted. Then break them, Rian replied coldly. Target the command ship. A barrage of plasma lances fired. The alien flagship, 3 kilometers of armor and arrogance, took the hit directly. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the ship exploded into a blooming firestorm, scattering molten metal into the stars. Cheers erupted on the bridge. Rian didn't celebrate. He simply whispered, "One down." The Galactic Council watched in horror as their mighty armada began to crumble. Every projection, every calculation said the same thing. The humans shouldn't be winning, but they were. Why aren't they retreating? Demanded the Carthian warlord. They're outnumbered 20-1. Because, said the Archon, her voice trembling, they don't know how to retreat. Hours passed. Debris floated like ghosts through the void. Wreckage of both alien and human ships painted the darkness in orange flame, but still, the humans advanced. In the quiet aftermath of the first assault, Hale turned to Ryan. "We've lost 60 ships, Commander. Half our ammunition's gone." Ryan nodded slowly. "And them? Over 2,000 destroyed. Another 1,000 crippled." He exhaled, a long, calm breath. "Then they'll be afraid now." "Good." He turned toward the viewing glass. "Fear keeps them from thinking straight. Fear makes them hesitate, and hesitation is death." On the council world of Avaris, sirens wailed as evacuation ships filled the skies. Civilians screamed. Soldiers tried to hold order. But deep down everyone knew the truth. Humanity wasn't fighting for conquest. They were fighting for vengeance. As the Dauntless cut through the smoke and wreckage, Ryan gave one final order. "Transmit to all fleets." "Message, sir?" Hale asked. Rian's voice was low, steady, and cold. "Tell the galaxy." This was Mercy. The message spread like fire, across star systems, across empires, across worlds that had forgotten the name human. Every being who heard it felt the same thing, a chill deep in their bones, because Mercy was only the beginning. The sky above Avaris was burning. Billions watched from the surface as streaks of fire tore through the heavens. Each line of light was a ship, a human warship, descending like a vengeful storm. The capital of the Galactic Council, once called the heart of civilization, was now a battlefield. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Commander Rian stood motionless. Before him, the planet filled the viewport. Blue oceans, white clouds, golden continents now shrouded in smoke. His voice was quiet, but it cut through the noise. "Target acquired. Initiate Operation Retribution." The order echoed across the Terran fleet. Missile bays opened. Cannons hummed. Old machines forged centuries ago prepared for war one final time. "Commander," Hale said softly, "if we strike, there's no turning back." Ryan's eyes never left the burning world. There never was. On the surface, panic spread like wildfire. Sirens screamed. Civilians fled through narrow corridors of light and dust. The Council's defense towers powered up, hurling plasma into the sky. But the human ships danced through it, weaving, diving, striking. An alien soldier, young and trembling, stared upward as the first Terran drop pods pierced the atmosphere. "Are they demons?" he whispered. His commander answered with hollow eyes. "No, they're humans." The drop pods hit the ground with thunder. Hatches exploded outward, and soldiers in scarred armor stepped into the smoke. No fear, no hesitation, only purpose. "Squads, secure the command complex," Ryan's voice ordered through the comm. "No civilians. Only those who made the decision to erase us." The humans moved like ghosts, silent and precise. They fought with a fury that was not hatred. It was justice carved in fire. Every corridor echoed with the rhythm of gunfire. Every hallway glowed with sparks and blood. The defenders had numbers. The humans had resolve. Inside the council bunker, the Archon of Virelia watched the monitors flicker one by one, each screen turning red as sectors fell. Her advisors begged her to flee. She didn't, she whispered almost in prayer. "So this is how it feels, to be the enemy." A blast shook the walls. Doors buckled. Then came the footsteps. Steady, deliberate, human. Ryan stepped through the smoke, helmet in hand. "Archon Serax," he said quietly. "It's over." The Archon straightened, trembling but proud. "You should have stayed buried, Terran. We gave the galaxy peace." "Peace?" Ryan repeated, voice low. "You gave them fear. You erased us to protect your order. Now, they'll remember the truth." He raised his weapon but paused. Their eyes met, human and alien, predator and judge. "Tell the Council," he said, "humanity doesn't want their empire. We want our place among the stars. And we'll take it, in blood if we must." He lowered the weapon and turned away. Mercy. Cold, deliberate, terrifying. Moments later, the Dauntless hovered above the capital. A single transmission left the Terran flagship. No demands, no threats. Just 2 words: "We endure." Then the humans vanished into the void, leaving Avaris in ruins and the galaxy in shock. In the aftermath, whispers spread. Some called them saviors. Others called them monsters. But every world, every species, every soul knew one truth. Humanity was back. And this time they were coming for the stars themselves. The fires of Avara still glowed in the dark. From orbit, the once golden capital looked like a wound carved into the heart of the galaxy. Entire continents burned, their cities reduced to dust and silence. Yet even through the ruins, humanity's signal pulsed again. 3 words: we are back. Across the stars, every empire trembled. Fleets gathered, governments collapsed, alliances cracked under the weight of fear. Stories spread faster than light. Stories of soldiers who didn't die when they should have, of warships that fought until their hulls melted. The legend of humanity was no longer a myth. It was alive. On board the Dauntless, Commander Rian stood at the viewport watching the scarred planet shrink into the distance. Smoke trailed behind it like a ghost. Lieutenant Hale approached quietly. "Sir, reconnaissance reports confirm it. Council command is gone. Avaris has fallen." Ryan nodded. His face showed no joy, only exhaustion. "And the others?" "Most of the outer colonies are panicking. Some have surrendered to us without a single shot." Ryan's eyes darkened. "They think surrender will save them. It won't. The war isn't over. It's only begun." Deep within the ship's lower decks, engineers worked in silence around a sealed chamber. Inside lay something ancient, buried since the final days of old Earth. A machine built not for peace but for remembrance. They called it the Echo. A weapon? A message? No one truly knew. All that mattered was that it carried humanity's final heartbeat. Back in the Galactic Council ruins, the surviving leaders met in secret. Holograms flickered in the shadows, and their faces pale, their empires crumbling. The Archon of Virelia spoke first. "Avarice has fallen. Half our fleet's destroyed. The humans will not stop here." "They can't win," growled the Carthian warlord. "They are few. They are desperate." The Archon looked straight through him. "You still don't understand. They don't need numbers. They need purpose." Silence fell. Every being in that chamber felt it. The heavy, suffocating weight of inevitability. The Dauntless moved through the void, silent and unstoppable. "Commander," Hale said, voice low, "we've intercepted transmissions. The Council is regrouping near Helion Prime." Ryan smiled faintly. "Then that's where we go next. Should I ready the Echo?" Hale asked carefully. Ryan turned, his gaze sharp as steel. "Not yet. The galaxy isn't listening closely enough," he paused, then added, "but soon they'll hear everything." Aboard the alien cruiser Virelian's Grace, the Archon watched the human message replay on an endless loop. "We endure." Each time she heard it, something twisted inside her. Fear. And something else: "we respect." She whispered to herself, "Maybe we deserve this." Her advisor recoiled. "You speak treason." "No," she said softly. "I speak truth." Outside her window, stars flickered one after another as human ships appeared on the edge of Helion space. The first shot came without warning. A single beam, white and blinding, cut through darkness and split a dreadnought in two. The humans had arrived before anyone expected. The Council's last stronghold was about to face the same fury that had consumed Avaris. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Ryan raised his hand. "No broadcasts. No warnings. Just strike." "Sir," Hale whispered. "The Echo, it's activating on its own." Every screen flickered. A low hum vibrated through the ship. Ancient, mechanical, alive. Ryan froze. Impossible. It shouldn't be awake yet. Then a voice, not human, not machine, spoke through the comms. "Humanity rises. Again." The stars themselves seemed to tremble. Space trembled. Every sensor, every radar, every listening post across the galaxy screamed the same impossible reading. A pulse, ancient, heavy, alive, rolling through the void like the heartbeat of a god. On the Dauntless, lights flickered. Consoles sparked. Crews shouted in confusion, "Commander!" Hale called out, "The Echo's chamber is active on its own." Ryan turned sharply. That can't be possible, but it was. Deep below the ship's armored decks, the sealed vault glowed white. Every human vessel within the fleet felt it, a low hum through their bones like the earth itself was remembering them. Then a voice spoke. It was not digital, not recorded. It was something older. Humanity rises, again. Across the bridge, crew members froze. Some fell to their knees. Others whispered prayers they had forgotten for centuries. Even Ryan, stone-faced and unyielding, felt a shiver run through him. "Identify source," he ordered. "No source, sir," Hale replied quietly. "The signal is everywhere, and nowhere." The echo was awake. Far from the Terran fleet, the Council's warnet collapsed under the wave. Communications died. Weapon systems malfunctioned. Ships drifted as if the universe itself had cut their strings. The Archon of Virelia watched in horror as her command ship's core dimmed. "What is this?" she whispered. Her advisor trembled. "An attack?" "No," she said slowly. "A memory." The voice reached them too, soft yet infinite. "Do you remember what you did to us?" Every species heard it. Every mind felt it. The echo wasn't just a weapon. It was a message burned into the galaxy's soul. On the Dauntless, systems stabilized. Screens flashed with coordinates no one recognized. Star systems that had been wiped from maps centuries ago. Hale studied them. "These are Earth's colonies, the lost worlds." Ryan stepped closer. "So that's what the echo was protecting." He looked out at the stars, voice low. "It's not a weapon. It's a call home." But the Council didn't see it that way. They saw a threat growing faster than they could contain. Armadas were relaunched, drones dispatched, and entire sectors ordered to purge human space. In a hollow conference hall above Helion Prime, leaders argued. "They've unleashed something we can't fight," one said. "Then we burn everything before it spreads," another snarled. But the Archon remained silent. She had heard the echo's words in her mind since Avaris fell. "We endure." And for the first time, she wasn't sure if she wanted to stop them or join them. Back aboard the Dauntless, the crew assembled as the echo's holographic projection filled the air. A glowing map of stars, each representing a lost human world. "Commander?" Hale said, awe in his voice. "There are hundreds, maybe thousands of colonies still out there." Rian nodded slowly. "They thought we were extinct, but the galaxy forgot one truth." He looked at his crew, men and women who had slept through centuries just to see this moment. Humanity never dies. We multiply in the dark. The echo pulsed again, brighter this time. It sent a signal far beyond Council space, toward those forgotten colonies. Somewhere out there, thousands of ships woke up at once. Engines roared after centuries of silence. Old flags rose again. The galaxy was no longer facing a single fleet. It was facing a species reborn. Ryan watched the stars ignite with the light of their return. His voice was a whisper, but it carried like thunder. "Let them come. We've been waiting." The echo answered with a final pulse that shook every sensor in the galaxy. And then, silence. The calm before the storm. The stars answered. Moments after the echo's pulse crossed the void, the galaxy lit up with beacons that no one had seen in 1,000 years. Systems once thought dead came alive. Ancient transmitters powered on, burning through the silence like lightning across a storm. On the Dauntless, the bridge crew watched the map explode with light. Dozens, hundreds, then thousands of human signals blinked into existence. "By the void," whispered Hale. "They were never gone." Ryan's jaw tightened. No, they were waiting. Across the frontier, forgotten human worlds stirred. On the frozen planet Krios III, miners dropped their tools as sirens screamed old Terran codes. On Valen's Reach, a colony buried under glass domes saw the night sky flash with the symbol of Earth, blue and white, glowing against the dark. Old captains climbed out of cryosleep. Warships hidden beneath ice and desert dunes awoke, their engines rumbling after centuries of dust. From every world came the same message. Signal received. Humanity endures, but not everyone celebrated. On Helion Prime, the Council watched in horror as the network of human colonies connected into a single living grid. The Archon stood before the holomap, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're uniting," she said, "across thousands of light years. We can't fight that. The Carthian warlord slammed his fist on the table. Then we end it before it spreads. How? Asked the Archon. You can't kill an idea, and humanity is the idea of survival itself. Silence followed. Every leader felt it. That same ancient fear their ancestors once carried when the humans first rose among the stars. Back aboard the Dauntless, Ryan stood before the fleet's communications array. A sea of holographic screens surrounded him, each one showing a different world, a different leader, a different face of humanity. He spoke calmly, but his voice carried the weight of centuries. Brothers, sisters, children of Earth. We were scattered, hunted, erased from memory, but we are not ghosts. We are not myths. We are the storm that returns after the fire, and the galaxy will remember our name. The transmission echoed across every human world. Soldiers raised their rifles in salute. Civilians knelt, tears in their eyes. The lost species was no longer lost. Humanity was reborn. The first united Terran armada formed at the edge of Council space. Tens of thousands of ships, old and new, scars glowing under distant suns. They moved as one heartbeat, one mind, one purpose. Hale turned to Ryan. Orders, sir? Ryan looked at the stars ahead, eyes cold and determined. Set course for Helion Prime, the Council began this war. We'll end it where they stand. Understood. Engines roared to life. The black of space turned crimson from their thrusters. In the shadows of a dying nebula, the Archon watched her monitors go dark one by one. Every world she had once ruled now showed the same signal, the emblem of Earth burning like fire. She whispered, maybe this is balance. Maybe the galaxy needs them to rise again. Her aide turned, terrified. You would join them? She smiled sadly. I would survive them. As the Terran armada crossed into Council territory, the echo pulsed once more. Louder, faster, alive. Across the galaxy, stars flickered in rhythm, as if the universe itself was keeping time with humanity's march. And in that rhythm, every species heard the same truth. The age of the Council was ending. The age of mankind had begun, to be continued. Part 8 and the March on Helion Prime, coming soon on Dominion, Rise of Humanity.